Aztecs take one small step among a bunch of giant leaps still to come into a new conference amid a new era in collegiate athletics. I'm Steve Perez along with Lewis Weiner, and this is Aztecs All In. When it comes to San Diego State University Aztecs, we're all in. Time to check in now with Lewis to see if he is stable, awake, alert, holding down fluids. How about that Aztecs caravan we checked in on last week, Lewis? Get enough bar snacks? Aztecs shag and coach speak.
The wings were good. That was a lot of fun. Good catching up with all the different coaches. It was fun.
Yeah. So why don't we get on with this edition that includes Aztecs Athletics Director J.D. Wicker with the Aztecs big picture and some big questions still to be resolved in the coming weeks when it comes to the transition into a whole new conference. It's a valued brand, but mostly new ingredients, including a mystery school to be named later.
The Aztec men's basketball team is flying high with the return of Miles Byrd, surprisingly.
Yeah, and we'll check in with Coach Sean Lewis on the progress he's made putting together a team that's going to take on a recently released schedule on television that features Stony Brook in the opener. Oh, wait a minute, they're not on the TV schedule so far. And my personal favorite, he said facetiously, a Friday football game on the road.
Great, your favorite Friday football game, Steve. You love those.
Yeah. But, the good news, there's good news, bad news with it. But, we did catch up with some fellow Aztec alums at Novo Brazil Brewing in the Mission Valley Mall, right? Good turnout.
Yeah, it was really a great turnout and a chance to just chat with the coaches. And when I got there, Coach Brian Dutcher was chatting with four other guys, and I just went up and for about 30 minutes, he just, answered questions and just hung out with us as if we were just his good buddies. So I love that. It was really a lot of fun.
Pretty cool. So why don't we get on into the meat of this thing? Because, there wasn't, as I recall, any meat. There were cheesy things there on the buffet table, and then there were the wingos, but no meat. Let's get to the meat. We'll show people.
Okay, let's get to it.
So Lewis, reporting from the San Diego Union-Tribune and outlets throughout the conference, makes it official late last week. San Diego State and four other Mountain West schools have indeed officially notified the conference of their intent to leave next year. It involved giving official notice to the Mountain West and the little matter of wiring about $5,000 to the Pac-12. Still some unresolved matters, though, before the Aztecs can realize their dream of trading those Mountain West frequent flyer miles and heavy backpacks, especially at altitude, in for a Pac-12 yacht. Always catches, right? $18 million exit fee to ditch the Mountain West for the departing schools, and a $40 million poaching fee from the Pac-12 schools. All that is still being negotiated, litigated, mediated, whatever you want to call it, on a couple of legal fronts that the Aztecs are not parties to. But we know this for certain. Lawyers coming out ahead on both sides, in this one with the billable hours. On the conference front as well, the small matter of needing one more school for football. UNLV showing the stay signal. There's been talk of Memphis, Tulane, other schools. Texas State seems to make the most geographical sense at the moment, but I see a lot of turned up noses when that name is mentioned. It's got to be done by July 1st if the school is to avoid a bigger exit fee. So at the moment, conference rebuild messier than one of my patented Perez.com nachos after I stumble into the living room and it's holy, flying frijoles everywhere, Batman. The official invite to whoever to join the Pac-12 fiesta is said to follow the Pac-12's media deal, which is supposedly in hand, and waiting to see how the above legal wrangling shakes out. So, J.D. at the caravan telling the Aztec faithful none of this is moving as quickly as he would like, but it feels to him like the next 4 or 5 weeks, a lot's going to happen. It's going to help dictate what the school is going to deal with moving forward. Final unknown at this point is the result of what is known in federal court as the House case. It's actually 3 antitrust cases that were supposed to be resolved by now, but still must be approved by a federal judge in Oakland after she made some suggestions for improvement before she'd sign off on it. As reported, the current deal would pay close to $2.8 billion in back damages to some former athletes, current athletes, and of course their lawyers. It would include caps on rosters, so the schools would know what they have to deal with, other things being finalized, etc., etc. Eventually, it would bring all that under-the-table stuff up above and on the table, legalize the ability of schools to share TV revenue with their athletes, and I'm quite certain a lot more dotted I's and crossed T's and legalese that I'm glossing over in the interest of time. Also, Congress, according to J.D., is inching forward with a national law governing payments for use of athletes' name, image, and likeness, supposedly a bipartisan bill.
We're hoping for a national bill that codifies what's in-house, preempts state laws, says that a student athlete is a student and not an employee. That's very important. The overwhelming majority of our student athletes want to be students. They don't want to be employees. They enjoy at San Diego State, if you're a full scholarship student athlete, you're receiving about $40,000 in aid and benefit and all of that, and it's tax-free. Student athletes recognize that and really like that benefit. So hopefully Congress can get things figured out. I think the president at this point has backed off on his sports commission and an executive order to allow Congress to get done what they need to get done.
Now, I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, JD, but we can always be optimistic, right? Wicker says SDSU has a pretty good idea of what the new Pac-12 media deal will look like. He's pleased about that impending deal. On the athletics front, Aztecs have 101 total conference championships, Lewis. That's by far the most of any school.
Steve, of course, the big news that Aztec basketball fans had been waiting for is no longer a mystery. Miles Byrd is returning for his junior season at San Diego State after declaring for the NBA draft and going through NBA workouts. He had until May 28th to announce his return to SDSU, and that's exactly what he did. So with the return of Magoon Gwath, who briefly prepared for the NBA draft, and Reese Waters coming back for a final season after sitting out last year with an injury, some are now calling the Aztecs a potential top 25 team. Byrd talked with NBC 7 San Diego about how Dutcher reacted to his return and what led to his final decision.
It was quick. I mean, I think the coaches were anticipating the phone call the whole entire morning. I had finished working out. I slept on it the night before, finished my workout, went outside. We were about to go in the ice baths at the agency, and I'll just call Dutch right now since I already know what I'm going to do. So gave him a call. I was like, I'm back. Let's run it back, coach. And that's all I needed to hear, pretty much. So it was a good conversation. Talked to all the coaches this weekend at the AG's wedding. So happy to see everybody's family in my eyes. It was more of just, either taking the risk. I kind of looked at everything from the worst possible situation. So worst possible situation, I slide all the way out of the second round, and I'm on a two-way, and I'm fighting for just time to even put an NBA jersey on, wearing a G League jersey the majority of the time. So for me, it was more of giving myself another year, try to get stronger, try to make a run, graduate, make my mom happy, and give it another go here at SDSU.
It seems like NIL has become the key factor for players deciding whether or not they want to transfer. With many college basketball programs losing most of their key players to the transfer portal, San Diego State is a rarity these days. It did lose Nick Boyd, who decided to chase the big bucks, along with DeMarshe Johnson Jr. to the portal, but nobody else left the program. That includes Gwath, who, according to Dutcher, could have made a bundle. But after talking with a few other programs and testing the NBA waters before an injury, he decided to return. And Dutcher is breathing a sigh of relief about that, saying for his players, it's more than just about the money.
The team has turned down more money than they could have got somewhere else. And Magoon probably, realistically, could have got somewhere in the range of $3 million had he decided to leave next year. If he decided to come back, he's rehabbing his knee and will be ready to go at the start of the year. But he's the extreme. But everybody on the roster could have got more money, but it's not all about money. It's about being a place you love, feel as if you're getting better, feel as if you're being valued, and you're willing to settle for less in order to have that kind of experience. And that's the kind of kids we have in the program. So I'm real excited about the returning players. We took 3 transfers out of the portal. We took 2 freshmen that are very good. And so the future is bright for this coming year of Aztec basketball. And I know Coach Fish used to say he walked around and had to give tickets away. I don't have any tickets to give. So if you want tickets, you're going to have to try to buy them.
So, Steve, the Aztecs 2025-26 men's basketball roster is set. Besides Byrd, Waters, and Guath, there are returning players B.J. Davis, Pharaoh Compton, Miles Heide, and Taj DeGorville, along with redshirt 7-footer Thakbor Majak, transfers Jeremiah Oden, Sean Newman, and Latrell Davis, along with incoming freshman Tay Simmons. That's the good news. The bad news is the season is still 6 months away. Steve, also at the Aztecs Caravan event was women's basketball coach Stacey Terry-Hutson. The Aztecs are coming off another successful season that ended with a trip to the NCAA tournament. They finished with a record of 25-10, with 2 freshmen leading the way, and they'll both be back. The Aztecs got to the big dance by winning the Mountain West Conference tournament in Las Vegas, and it took a remarkable triple overtime win over Wyoming to clinch their spot. I was at that game, and it was amazing to watch in person. Every time it looked like the Aztecs were out of it, they made the plays when needed to pull it out. So while the Aztecs made it to the NCAA tournament, they didn't last long, as Coach Terry-Hutson explains.
First time in the NCAAs for a while. We went to LSU. I think they had 10 or 12 on the floor. It wasn't fair. But didn't have the outcome that we wanted to, but it was a great experience, and our girls had such a good time. It was interesting because when we left, I think we took everything off the walls that said San Diego State. We weren't leaving anything there. But really proud of our group. Really excited to be here. Thank you to all of you. And really, I want to give a personal shout out to all of my WBB faithfuls that have been with me the whole time. I appreciate you guys and everything that you do for this program. I really, really do. Thank you. However, there's room for more, so please come along. It's a good group. It's a fun game. The tickets, you can get a great seat for a little bit less expensive than what Brian's charging, so come on down. You can get a courtside seat, but it's a fun time for women's basketball. As you know, we're blowing up on the national scene, not just in the WNBA, but in the college athletic forum. So excited for the opportunity that we have moving forward. A little bit about what we did last year. We scored more points this year, averaged more points than in 30 years. So excited about that. Similar to what Dana was talking about, I did graduate quite a bit. So we're bringing 7 new kids in, 5 transfers, 2 freshmen. A lot of great talent coming in, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the freshman class that we have coming back that we were able to keep. Yes. Naomi Panganiban, a San Diegan. If you haven't had a chance, I call her Little Bit. She is just fierce and just a great student athlete, fun to watch. And Nat Martinez, another one of our freshmen. Yes, together they had 8 Freshman of the Week honors. And then you'll see a lot from another San Diegan here. So we have 3 San Diegans if you include me.
Lewis, I enjoyed how Coach Stacey Terry-Hutson had supporters at the Aztecs Coaches Caravan, some of whom had heard the story before, rolling with a gem from the triple OT Mountain West title win over Wyoming. So the team's prepping for the 3rd OT, and senior Kim Villalobos is obviously getting a shade gassed, and she wants to know how much longer this thing's going to go on.
She looks me dead in the face, and some of you guys have heard me tell the story. She looks me dead in the face, and she goes, "Well, how much longer is this one?" And I said, "Honey, it's 5 more minutes." And she goes, "Well, then after that, is it sudden death?" And I said, "No, it's not AAU. No, we have to play another 5 minutes until we finish this thing." But luckily, we got it over in the next 5, and we were able to win the Mountain West championship. Really proud of that. Yes.
Villalobos dropped 9 OT points. Aztecs clinched that NCAA berth with pure grit. Ran into a top seed in LSU on their home court in the NCAAs. The run ended, but it feels like a corner's been turned in the women's basketball program. Lewis?
That is great. So the Aztecs' 25 wins are the most in 13 seasons, and their 70 wins over the last 3 seasons match their most in a 3-season span in school history. And Steve, it was another successful season for the SDSU men's golf team, which ended last week with a 7th place finish in the NCAA Tallahassee Regional. They finished 2 places back and 6 shots back of qualifying for the NCAA championships, which were held in nearby La Costa. It was a disappointing finish, but Coach Ryan Davidson says that doesn't take away from what he calls a very successful season.
Yeah, it's been a great year. A little bittersweet. We won 3 of the last 4 terms for the regional, and came up a little bit short this year. 6 shots out of 900 shots, so it's not many. But we're graduating 4 seniors this year, 1 in the starting lineup. So we got 4 guys returning, so we're going to be good to next year. And we have a motto, no excuses, and we didn't complain going to Florida, waking up at 4 in the morning, any of that. We just kind of kept our head high and fought hard, and winning the conference the 4th time in a row has been something that we take pride in. And I'm excited for our seniors, for them graduating, moving on, doing better and bigger things. Just a great group of guys. Our chemistry is phenomenal. We have nobody in the transfer portal. Nobody wants to leave. When they come here, they want to stay here and they want to win. And they want to graduate. And that's a lot of...
Steve, the Aztecs finished their season with 3 team victories in 12 tournaments, along with 2 runner-up finishes, 7 top 5s, and 10 in the top 10.
All right, Lewis. Coach Sean Lewis was the finale of the Coach's Caravan. Before we get into that, the TV schedule's out for football, and I'm shocked that the Aztecs home opener against Stony Brook is not on the national TV schedule anywhere, at least for the moment. For the Aztecs, 9 national TV games, which includes a first on the CW, and that's September the 6th at Washington State, 7:15 p.m., 6 games on CBS Sports Network, a couple of games on one of the Fox channels, and most special of all, Aztecs' final Mountain West football game ever, scheduled against the New Mexico Lobos on Friday, and that's the bad news in my book. But the good news is an afternoon game on CBS Sports Network, 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Right now, football teams in conditioning phase before starting up in the fall camp in earnest, and Coach Lou and a few fans in attendance sound like they're ready to get on with it as soon as possible. But there's still some red tape related to onboarding incoming transfers, students, and all that, so that's going to have to wait. Consarn rats of fracas. Anyways, here's Coach Lou going on about what it's like being a new guy on the block and hanging out with Coach Dutch, who's been around for 25 years when you've been around for 25 months.
It's awesome perspective as we stand together, as he talked about year 1 for their 5 wins, and obviously year 1 for us last year with only our 3 wins, which is not good enough for us and for everyone so proud to wear this logo. And that's really been the motivation and the inspiration since day 1, right, to restore the pride in this program and to fill the stand at beautiful Snapdragon Stadium with the work that we have been doing. And that started with the culture that we have been cultivating, that we've been creating since day 1. That's built on constantly improving, constantly competing, having each other's back, what we call cover and move, right? And then knowing the way that this whole community has, this city has, right, that there is a certain level of work that needs to be done to achieve the great things that we are going to do. And that's our blue-collar nastiness. Like, we're going to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to get that work done. So as we went through the season, right, we had some really great players, guys that shine. From Trey White, who was top 5 in the country in TFLs. He was also top 5 in the country in sacks. And when you have those sorts of numbers, right, the big boys come and calling. And just like Coach alluded to, right, there was SEC schools, Big Ten schools that came and calling for Trey and numerous other guys. We had 7 all-conference players that they thought were going to be easy targets. Those big boys thought were going to be easy targets to poach away from what they are building, what they are creating, and the pride that they are restoring in the program. And those 7 all-conference players were a priority for us to retain them. And with your support and with your guys' belief, we did just that. And those guys are still here on the Mesa.
Really tough to cut Coach Lou off when he's on a roll, Lewis. Difference this year is there are some team leaders that he can count on to help set the tone for the season. He's seeing a lot of little successes in the building that are not visible yet to those on the outside.
Success is this lagging indicator that comes after a whole bunch of hard work. And our guys have been working relentlessly since January 20th, 2025 when they come back to today and all the days coming forward. All right, so I appreciate your guys' support and everything that you guys have done for our program. Those that have tickets, thank you so much. Those we took a photo earlier that are still on the fringe of renewing, send the photo. Come on, I know you guys are in. They're renewed, boom, love that. I do have some tickets that I will get some from Moose, and I'll be just like Coach Fisher, handing them out, right? But we are going to get Snapdragon rolling, right? It's going to be the spot to be with an exciting brand of football, and the future of Aztec football is bright, and we have a unique opportunity to win the last Mountain West championship before we go on to the Pac-12, and our guys are excited to do that work. I'm excited to lead them more than I ever have been, and thank you so much for all that you guys do. Go Aztecs.
One last take from Coach Lou came as a result of a good question from a supporter who asked him to share the difference in the first half of the season and the second half of last season.
Simplest answer is that I didn't adjust to the injuries that we had on the team that slowed our development and led to a very poor performance as we came down the stretch. And so that's something I take complete ownership of, need to do a better job with. We've addressed it, we've talked about it as a leadership council. The biggest thing that we've pointed to as we've assessed what's gone on so that doesn't happen again is just the depth of talent that's required, right, to be able to go and win at a championship level, right? We went into last season, as I stood in front of you guys last year when I got the job, there was 49 kids that hit the portal. And as Coach was talking to his 13 scholarship players, since we've been here, to turn the roster turnover to get things done the right way, I have signed over 123 kids since I've been the head coach in 18 months. Right, and so managing that, having the depth of talent that's needed. We went into last year, for example, guys with 11 scholarship offensive linemen. Your starting left tackle goes down in week 1. You start playing musical chairs up front. Another guy comes into your office week 5, says, hey, I'm going to redshirt. Another guy has a high ankle sprain. Now you start talking about, okay, how do you manage preparing your team, developing throughout the course of the week so that you can have the most competitive team to play. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and we weren't deep enough, either offensive or defensive line. As we start summer workouts today, we have 16 scholarship offensive linemen, and we have 12 scholarship defensive linemen, so that our trenches will be right, and we can build and we can develop, because if that's not right, nothing else will be, so it'll be a different looking team this fall as we hit it, as we get going.
134 D1 football schools in the nation, 134 in the FBS. Aztecs, with that 3-9 record, came in 114th out of those teams. Lewis, the team's goal as always is to win the conference championship, and if so, it would be a memory of a lifetime. Aztecs football squad's final season in the Mountain West.
Steve, the Aztecs are looking for a new baseball coach after AD J.D. Wicker announced that head coach Sean Cole will not be returning. It's been a disappointing few years for the program, and Cole's record of 38-76 over the past 2 seasons is just not good enough. This year, the Aztecs swept their final series of the season against Washington State to earn the 5th seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament. But after winning the first game against UNLV, the Aztecs lost their last 2 and were eliminated.
Aztecs women's track and field team competed in the NCAA West Regionals in College Station, Texas. Sophomore sensation Shakina Foote is the lone Aztec heading to the NCAA Championships at Hayward Field, Eugene, Oregon, June 11th through the 14th. That's after a blistering 400-meter performance. She smashed the Mountain West and SDSU 400-meter record with a 50.95 in the first round at College Station, then backed it up with a 51.38 in the quarterfinals. That's 5th best in program history, punching her ticket to the Nationals. Foote looks to tap into that AztecFAST vibe, drilling sprints and doing her mental prep before chasing All-American honors at the big NCAA Outdoor Championships beginning June 11th.
So thanks for checking us out on Aztecs All In. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And you can also follow us on the X for Aztecs breaking news at Aztecs_all_in. And you can drop us a line with any questions or comments you may have to AztecsAllIn@gmail.com. So for Steve Perez, I'm Louis Weiner. Until next time, so long.